I just want to preface this. I don't typically like to make content like this. If you look at my channel, it tends to be very educational. But if you're looking for a very, very educational video uh, that is very scripted, kind of like my Midnight Coup video, you're not going to find that in this one. This is me bitching and moaning for about 8 minutes straight about how these weapons all unanimously suck in PvE and how there's maybe one or two decent options for PvP, and even then, they're not doing anything that interesting. Um, there's really nothing else to say. Even this bit is not scripted. I just figured I'd throw this in the front so that way you are not hit by a very bitchy attitude video, you know? Anyways, hope you enjoy whatever the hell this video is. Thanks. Hey y'all, this is just something I wanted to talk about. I am really happy with some of the weapons in episode Heresy, mainly the heretical arsenal, but there are a couple that kind of are, we gotta see, right? Some of the perks are cool. I really like the Strand Auto Rifle. I really like the Arc GL, the Arc Machine Gun as things like Overflow, Killing Tally, or the Bolt Charge perk. I'm really happy with all that, right? But I'm looking at the Arrival's weapons, and I've gotta say, I oh my god, I am so disappointed in these weapons. I think they are some of the worst weapons in the game, at least for PvE. Okay, for PvP, very, very different story for at least two of these weapons. Okay, and maybe three. I don't know. I'm not a big auto rifle guy, but speaking of autos, let's go over it. Right. So false promises. I think for PvE, you're kind of stuck with a loose change or enlightened action paired with headstone. Um, the only other option really is like enlightened action rampage or feeding frenzy rampage, and that's such a year two, early year three perk combination that just doesn't work in any of the modern content that we have now. So I really think it's loose change headstone, and even that role is just kind of not amazing. For PvP, we do have dynamic sway, Zen moment. And I'm actually like I'm curious about that, like a mega ultra stable easy to fire auto rifle. My only worry is the 360 RPM. I'm not too sure how those things are in PvP. I have a couple auto rifle friends and they tend to stay more in the 600 720 range, as do most PvE players. So I mean, we'll see. Overall, for PvP, not too bad. For PvE, very, very bland, right? But it just gets worse. Because let's go to Whispering Slab. For PvP, we have Lone Wolf Headstone, right? Or sorry, Lone Wolf Opening Shot. But for PvE, what the what are we supposed to use? Like, High Ground is maybe the best perk on the weapon. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not using Swash with a bow. It's a melee build. I'm not using Swash. I'm not using Adrenaline Junkie when I have access to better perks and better bows. I'm not using Vorpal on a primary unless it's something like a Lucky Pants swap for a hand cannon. And newsflash, this thing can't be used with Lucky Pants because it's not a hand cannon, right? So the best perk is maybe High Ground, and I mean that's just not what we need. Other than that, like it's Archer's Tempo, right? And this is really depressing because we just got a bow with kinetic tremors that came from Garden of Salvations, and it had other decent perk options too that really made the bow, like type, seem really good. But this thing just completely drops the momentum, especially when we have a bow rolling with perks like Dragonfly destabilizing rounds from episode Heresy and the Heretical Arsenal. This thing is just a massive dump. All right. So this is while False Promises had put some potential in PvP and like a good role in PvE, good is stretching it. A role I will not boot someone out of my fire team for. This thing right here, it doesn't have it. It has like maybe a good PvP role if you like bows, and it has nothing, not a single thing for PvE. Cold Denial, I think, is going to be a phenomenal pulse rifle in PvP, but I don't know how much. I think, it's a 340, so it's competing with things like LCs and Messenger, right? But this can't get Zen Moment Headseeker, and it's in a top slot where LCs is kind of in the middle slot. I really see nothing else to use. Maybe Zen Moment like Eye of the Storm or multi-kill clip if you're playing 6v6. But overall, PvP, I think this is a decent option. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just hammering down what pulse rifles are already good at in the current Crucible sandbox, which is stable firing with decent time to kills at far ranges. All right. For PvE, don't ever use this. Look at this. Swashbuckler and multi. Oh my god. I can't even like look at this right now. This is the worst PvE pulse rifle we have probably received in the last 3 years. I actually can't think of a worse pulse rifle. I think even Peace of Mind was a better PvE pulse rifle than this, right? Oh my god. Just yet again, total dumpster fire for PvE. PvP though, this will cook, right? Let's look at Hollowed Words. This might be the worst fusion rifle currently earnable in the sandbox, aside from the one from Beyond Light. And that one might actually be better now since they just reworked it. I don't know. But this one, it can get Lead from Gold Vorpal, which is the same roll on Cartesian. And the only thing saving Cartesian is the fact that it is a faster firing fusion. This thing is a 780. It fires decently slow, and it doesn't have controlled bursts, and it doesn't have a way to easily overflow the magazine, making it pretty much useless for PvE. For PvP, though, it is actually so bad. This thing has nothing for PvP. Not a single perk combo aside from, I mean, I guess you could do, not even Steady Hands, like maybe Slick Draw. Like, that's the best perk for PvP right now in this column. In this column, it's maybe Successful Warm-Up. Not too happy about it. Now, I know some of you guys are looking at Rolling Storm. Rolling Storm is better used on ad clear weapons. This thing has no ad clear potential aside from the fact that you can shoot the gun, right? It's a fusion rifle. It fires really slow. It could not have gone on a worse weapon. So this might be one of the worst weapons. I could see this thing being the worst weapon to come out in Episode Heresy. Last, we have Temptation's Hook. And I just want to remind some people that swords don't ever really get innovated unless a new frame comes out. This is a caster frame. I could see something like an Attrition Orb's chain reaction roll for ad clear. I could totally see that. Aside from that, don't use this weapon. You're not using it for boss damage. Probably something like chain reaction, Attrition Orbs. You could maybe do collective action if you have a lot of elemental pickup spawning. But overall, this thing is not reinventing the wheel, and I probably wouldn't even recommend it to anyone to use for PvE. For PvP, it is no different than any other sword that is a caster frame in PvP. And if you're using a caster frame, you probably should just, I don't know, be using like Black Talon or something. Overall, these are the weapon rolls for these weapons. Now let's look at the origin trait, right? Paracausal Fluid, gain bonus handling and mobility when damaging targets with this weapon. Swords gain increased charge rate while this perk is active. Oh my god, I guess that's cool. Like, it might be good for, like I said, these are very PvP oriented weapons. Cold Denial especially. You know, this origin trait, you're going to get bonus handling, switch to a shotgun, you know, vice versa. Maybe it's good for PvP, but for PvE, there is nothing of any value on any of these weapons. You know it's bad when the best PvE roll is Headstone with a loose change on a 360 auto rifle. That is my review of these weapons. I don't like bashing weapons too much. I actually just finished recording the Heretical Arsenal video, and it's like a 20-minute video that I didn't really do any editing for. I just kind of read it and was like, this weapon looks cool. Go check it out if you're curious about like what I think those weapons are good for and what perks look interesting. It's a pretty long video. Go ahead and skip through, find a weapon you like. But these weapons, just avoid them like the plague if you don't touch PvP. And if you do touch PvP, probably just get Cold Denial. That's probably it. Aside from that, hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry to be ranting. I'll try and get on the next video shortly. Stay tuned.